Ryan Little, hi Ryan, friend of the show, had a matter of proportion type question. He was saying, how much historic Highland fashion should you allow to influence your own style? In other words, people always joke about things like the faux pas of mixing leathers, right? And we talk about you shouldn't mix leathers. But mixing leathers is actually a very contemporary understanding of Highland fashion, or even menswear in general. So, should you, would you, could you reach too far back in history for inspiration, or conversely, could you be so hogtied by modern convention that you miss out on something? Is there a bellwether? Is there a rule of thumb for throwing historical stuff in, or veering off of the standard course?
Let's start here. Traditional Highland wear, traditional civilian dress in Highland wear, is basically 1900 through 1940-ish was kind of when it was cemented. Mm-hmm. So, if you think of the fancy guy in the Prince Charlie jacket and vest and dress sporran, or the guy in the tweed jacket and vest and the nice head-on sporran or day sporran, that's kind of when it was in its heyday. That's where it was cemented. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, you have Victorian stuff. Prior to that, you have Rob Roy. So you have, I'm speaking very, very broadly. Obviously.
I think you're very broadly.
Yes,
but
so where do you reach for inspiration? For me, it's a mixture of traditional Highland wear and what I would wear anyway. So an Oxford shirt and a kilt and a day sporran, to me, is fine in today's world. If I was going to be getting dressed up, I would wear something a little more dressy. I'd wear a tweed jacket and vest. I would be a little bit more traditional. I wouldn't necessarily go back 200 years to draw inspiration, but the 20s, 30s U.S. or Scottish, through today for how I would incorporate into my outfit. It's kind of where I go.
With respect, that's not going very far at all. You basically said I would
say it is.
You're basically saying I would stick with what is bog standard range these days.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. See, I don't disagree entirely, but I don't know. This is one of those questions where I'm going to be stuck saying you do you, but it's basically it really depends on the context for me. I mean, I will be much more historically inspired and wackadoo with something if it's just casual wear or a casual event I'm going to. Like if you're going to the Ren Fair, all bets are off. It's fancy, just whatever. If you're going for a concert, let's say like a rock concert, then yeah, I mean if I'm going to see like Turisas or somebody, probably nobody out there knows who that is. I would be very tempted to throw on something like something that looks like a Highland shirt and some mock piece of armor with a great kilt and stuff like that, and just really just go for broke with that because it's fun. It's part of the vibe. Okay. Now on the daily, I would say that like for an average day going to the supermarket, going to visit your girlfriend, whatever, you're not going to go that far. I think that the bits of history that we throw into daily wear is usually just little nods. Like for instance, I'm wearing a piece of jewelry which is based on, ancient Celtic, designs. Okay. That's a ancient Celtic boar there. So that's a nod to something that's like thousands of years old, right? But I'm wearing a modern t-shirt, hat that's not more than 200 years old in its design, not even that actually. So it's like little nods to history, and that's why since Highland wear can do that, that's why we tend to say it is more timeless as a style, because it can incorporate something one day and then drop it the next day and still look cool. So it depending on how far you go. I think people have been reaching back further than 1900 all along. That's why you have Sheriff Muir's.
Yep.
That's why you have the Montrose doublet. That's why you have the Kenmore doublet, because those are all based on trying to reach for a historical look, but in something which is tailored modernly and easy to wear by a modern person.
Yes, but that's also cyclical. It's more popular now than it was 20, 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's the Prince Charlie was essentially invented in the 1920s-ish, right, based on the regimental doublet. But now that we're kind of playing with the fashion a little bit, broadly speaking, and not Americans. I mean, like everybody, whether it's Scots or whoever, are playing with it a little bit and going back and looking back to the Victorians for a little bit of inspiration and what can I do a little bit differently. That's where the sheriff mirror and the regimental doublet and things like that kind of come in.
Yeah, I think, and this is where the we've been talking a little bit more the last few months about the concept of history bounding, and that's kind of where that's coming from. I think more people are trying to adapt pre-modern, early modern to 18th century, let's say, clothing into regular daily wear, if you can, where you can. I think that waistcoats could be a place you could play with it. Shirts is certainly a place where you could play with it, and not be so out there that people think it looks like you're dressed up because you're going on stage tonight, at the community theater. On the other hand, if you want to look like that and you want to be over the top, why not? I mean, I spent years as a goth, and I didn't really care about wearing ruffles and makeup and stuff in public because that was the vibe, that was the look, that was the tribe. So it's really a you do you question. You can only go too far or not far enough for yourself, but you need to keep context in mind. If you're going to a family reunion, maybe you don't wear the great kilt with the fur vest and the battle helmet. Like,
see my vest, see my vest, make a real
gorilla chest.
Won't you see my vest? I really like the vest.
I'm rambling because I'm very tired, but hopefully that makes sense. I think look to small bits and then add on based on context is how I play it.
Absolutely.
I think Victorian stuff is easy, and it's definitely coming back.
Yeah. Oh,
there's a lot of Victorian stuff you
all
can
comes
use.
in cycles. Yep. It's going to be that. It's going to be a weird mixture of Victorian inspiration and forward-looking, contemporary type inspiration. Simultaneously.
Yeah. So first off, tell us in the comments what is your dream outfit. Like if you needed to have a formal outfit of Highland wear and money was no object, what would you want to have? Tell us in the comments. The other thing I wanted to say that I didn't think of during the video was remember to take your time. You don't have to invest in this stuff all at once. If you want to put together formal wear, you can do it one element at a time over months or even years. Get to where you want as comfortably as you can.